Good morning everybody and welcome to what looks to be a promising beautiful sunrise this morning here at Juma Game Reserve with Safari TV. Hi folks, my name's Tara and I'm going to be your guide this morning. For about 3 hours we're going to do a live game drive here in the Sabi Sands. I'm going to be driving around, hopefully looking for maybe one or two of the big five and anything else that the Sabi Sands actually has in the way of animals, birds, trees, insects possibly, although it's a little bit cold this time of year for insects, and also reptiles, but you never know. And that's the beauty of it being live, we don't know what we're going to find. So I hope you guys are going to be able to stick around and see if we get lucky. We've just found some leopard tracks here on the road. We're going to try and see if we can follow them up. Obviously we had Induna on a kill last night. He had a guinea fowl and I'm hoping that these are going to be his tracks. And this morning I'm being joined by Mark behind the camera and Alex and Afka in final control. So if you do have any questions you'd like to ask, feel free to email them to finalcontrol@safari.tv. They don't have to be related to an animal that we're seeing. It could be anything related to nature as we're driving around. If there's anything that you've always wanted to ask and you've never had an answer, send it through, see if we know the answer. But I think for now I'm going to see if we can follow these leopard tracks while we're waiting for the sun to rise. I haven't heard much complaining as yet from Franklin's. I wonder if anyone heard any lions roaring last night, or any leopards calling around the dam. If you have, that would be useful to know. Gives us maybe a time frame to work with.
Morning everybody. Sleeping in the road there.
Okay, we do have the tracks coming off this way, but I think if we carry on down here we might just miss the sunrise. So I'm just going to head down towards the dam so that we've got a fairly open view. See what's around there and then we'll follow these leopard tracks a little bit more.
Lion.
Sorry?
Looks like lion.
I was actually just thinking that they do look a little bit large, a little bit more spread out. I was wondering if it could be the sand being a little bit thick.
Also just being the leopard being a little bit thick, like maybe Mafufunya, not one of the boys.
Yeah. And the hyenas, I think, may have caught the scent of Induna's kill last night. We weren't too sure if it was Induna or Mishu. I was thinking it could possibly have been Mishu through the fact that he was having a few improved climbing skills. But it looks like Induna has gotten better at climbing, and he did actually try and catch guinea fowl in the trees around the dam last night. And I was speaking to Johnny last night and he said as Induna was running he managed to bat one out the sky. He actually used his whole paw and pulled it down as it was flying off, because I couldn't believe that there was actually a guinea fowl on the ground. So I thought, when I heard that he'd had a kill, I thought maybe it was scrubhead that was around. And then we were able to identify it as at least a bird on air, possibly a guinea fowl because of the guinea fowl being in the area, but it could possibly have been a francolin that was roosting. And it turned out, as we were driving away after we were on air, we managed to see one of the feathers, which definitely showed up as guinea fowl. all quite exciting, and I think he walked actually down that way as well. Just had a couple of tracks there. But it looks like the sun is starting to poke through, so I'm just going to try and see if we can pick it up a little bit. It's starting to get a bit brighter now. Yeah, there's the tracks there. Dam looks very quiet this morning. Come down and see if there's any hippo. I just want to go up a little bit further onto this road so we have a little bit of height and maybe the trees around, just to try and frame the sunrise.
Janice was yesterday.
Miss Jam, good morning and happy birthday to you. Oh, there's a log there. I hope you're going to have a great birthday today, or had a great birthday. See if we can find some leopard or something nice for you to enjoy your birthday with. Good morning, Johnny. We are mobile at the moment. I've got some encounters from Ngala Fambring south on Twin Dams, and also one set of encounters from Ingwe Fambring south on Twin Dams. It looks like possibly 2, possibly 3 individuals. Negative at the moment, we just at Garida. Well, thank you. Thanks, Esparella, saying that there were some lion calls around 11:12 last night for a few hours.
on infinity.
Certainly was worth waiting for. Just looks like there's a few wisps of cloud helping to produce that mauve. Oh, stunning. Welcome to a brand new day. Oh, this Abutilon's dying back now. But it's not helping not being able to see any of the logs underneath it when you do go a bit off-road. Looks like there's a lot of love grass here as well. Fortunately, all the grass has died back. There's only one or two inflorescence. There we go. I don't know if we can get a picture there. We're a little bit too close. Or not? I think you'll be able to get this. So it starts to get quite difficult to identify grasses this time of year. It's still quite a pretty grass even when the light touches it. See all the inflorescence on the top there. Oh, I can hear a pearl-spotted owl calling. You may have heard that one. Oh, it's pretty. Good shot there, Mark. So we just saw a lot of it last night while we were watching Induna, I think, eating the guinea fowl, and it was just, as I say, the light just shining through it. It just really gave it quite a magical feel to it. It really was pretty. And even when the sun shines through here, and you get the golden rays. Okay, well, we'll see if we can continue following the tracks for a while. And see if the lions are going to be somewhere where we might actually be able to see them. Some individuals came down here and some actually came down the other side there. Sorry?
We chill a pad.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, eh? With any luck. There's a pill-spotted owlet calling again. It just looked like 3 individual lions, at least. I wonder if it's that 1 male and 2 females that we saw the other day.
Go.
Oh, doesn't tell Franklin flew down in front of us. I was hoping to stop and get him on camera, but he ran off before he could. And when we went over to Arathusa last night, we did bump into the big buffalo herd we had on drive yesterday. Just at the end of Philemon's Cut Line, junction with Zoe's Road. I wonder if these lions have been following them. Might be worth checking that side out as well. Don't have any luck following. Good morning, standing by. Cheddar plan area at the moment. I've still got the Nkonzos fambering south along Twin Downs. For that, yeah, I've definitely got 3 individuals fambering. They met up at the dam and they're all fambering down Twin Dams now. Okay, Johnny's just having a look, see if they've crossed onto Gowrie Main for us. Can try and give us a hand. He seems to think they could be the Styx Pride. I missed what he was saying. Could you copy what he was saying?
No.
No, I missed
Front
what he
area
was actually
closed.
saying, the reason why. He was saying something about the guys following the Styx Pride and they went into thick bush. I'm not too sure where. Okay, sorry Alex to interrupt. If you can maybe just speak up a little bit. Get a bigger break. Captain. Okay. Good morning to you, Captain Steve. I'm just gonna get to this dip and then get a bit of break. So I'm still trying to just keep on these tracks here. But sometimes they will walk off onto a game path, and there was quite a well-used game path to the right, so I didn't have anything in front of me, so I just wondered if they followed the game path or not. So Captain Steve, you'd just like to know, is lion pee just as strong, or is it stronger than cat pee? Urine. And it is very strong. And you should be able to smell lions when you see them. I can't. I don't know why, but I struggle to actually smell lions. But it is quite strong. And when I was working with them quite close to the zoo, maybe that's why. But it's a very, very strong ammonia smell.
Your side.
I've only got one track, but it... Huh?
Go a little bit to the right.
Go to the right. Oh, they're down there on the left.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Walking on the road there.
Cool.
Straight down and turn down.
Straight down. So we're just passing Chelapan, if anybody's following us with the map. Chelapan Road that's not marked on the map. To the right, and they are again. Lions try and take the shortest route. So if the road turns, you tend to get them crossing over so that they cut out the big bend. So they like to change the position on the road. Looks like they were possibly following buffalo. Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
How are you? Good, good, thank you. Have you got some that side as well? Yeah.
They've gone up Mamba Road, or rather gone up other Mamba battalion.
Yeah. They're here. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool, will do.
Drakensberg
Awesome.
Drive, lying in the sun.
He's hoping. Cool. Fingers crossed. Yup.
Cool, I'll take my bus, see you out there.
Alrighty. Okay guys, we just met Johnny, who we've just been speaking to on the radio. He does have a guest with him. So he's going to take Mamba Road. We're going to continue on with the tracks hopefully. And see if we get lucky.
I'm behind you for the meantime.
Copy that. And I'll just finish the question quickly for you, Steve, because I just suddenly thought as well, tigers also very, very strong ammonia smell. If you think of a baby's nappy and times it about 10, you've got probably the right smell for a tiger and a lion. And I've yet to smell the popcorn smell of leopard. I still haven't been privileged to smell that yet. Apparently when a female is in estrus, she smells like popcorn. Okay, we've got some tracks going off here. You got tracks there?
Yeah.
He's got tracks. Okay, well we'll continue this way. Although, I wonder if the one individual sort of went around here and continued that way now. Yeah, there's a here. Or is that side? No. If anybody's joining first time, or if you just tune in. You got anything that side? Yeah, I think we're probably better off turning around then. And
No.
sorry?
No.
No. Because I think if you Johnny, which umbrella did they take?
I took yellow south. Yeah, still got some Congo, yeah, but they're jiggling my knee here. I think maybe that is messed up around the top.
I still think we should take, I don't know.
Do you think it's worth me continuing on with Battalier?
These are not 2 seconds, no Congo, I might have lost direction here. 2 seconds.
Let's go and let's see. We'll eliminate them crossing this road.
Okay.
Go Drakensberg, go back to New Road, all the way up to Drakensberg Ground. So you just send this cut now south from the small little town into the Dragon's Line there.
Copy that. Unfortunately, we probably won't get any calling now, so it won't help us to try and relocate with sound. We only really call if we're trying to relocate each other, especially after the day. We start to call as the sun's setting and during the night. You may get a few calls, especially in winter time, as the sun's rising. Depends on what's happened overnight. If I was a lion, I'd be sitting on the other side of the bank, waiting for the sun rays to hit that bank. Okay, we've got something on the road here.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. As I say, if anybody is joining us for the first time, or if you just tuned in, you're watching a live safari from here in Jumla Game Reserve in South Africa. And this is 100% live. We're busy tracking lions at the moment, hoping that we're going to catch up to them. But so it's a bit difficult to predict where they might be, so we've got to try and watch for if they walk off onto one of the game trails here. So we've got to a decent sense of direction.
Close further up towards Darken. Yeah.
I've just got some Consos here on Batelier, clambering east.
Sure. I'm just about to get onto the sprinter. What I'll do is, if we don't settle them before that, I'm going to take sprinter all the way to Mumbai Road, and then from Mumbai Road to the south, from Cedar Cutland. But I think maybe, there's only coming out of Diamond Mines, so I was feeling that.
And you're joining myself, Tara. I'm your guide this morning with Mark on camera. This morning getting some beautiful shots for you. And then we have Info Control forwarding through any questions that you might have. Alex with Africa. Okay. Okay, Lynn from Canada, welcome on board this morning. Hope you're doing well. And you'd like to know if there's any water in Chelapan. Unfortunately, we got a bit sidetracked to actually show you the pan, but there is still water in there. So it has dropped, I must admit, since the last rains. Hopefully it's still going to have water for a little while yet. But I think it will dry up eventually. I think it's big enough to really sustain all the way through winter. And we've still got the line tracks in front of us. I'm really hoping these lines are going to be out in the open so we'll be able to see them. Johnny's going to make a big loop, so while we're on the tracks he's just going to make a big loop around, try and see if he can preempt where they might have gone. I've just lost the tracks. The last tracks were back there, but it's getting quite hard ground, so it's going to get quite difficult, so see if there's anything further up. My side. Have you got anything your side, Mark? Sorry?
Yeah.
Oh, you have got. Okay. And again, it's easy for animals to use the road. It means that there's less energy that they need to waste trying to bash their way through the bush. If they need to get, or they want to get from A to B, there's a road that goes there, they might as well use the road. It's open, you can see what's going on around them, and it doesn't take much effort to walk along the road. And that's why you get these animal tracks or animal pathways forming through the bush, and eventually each pathway will lead to water at some stage. And if you know the behavior of the animals, you can actually follow the tracks to and from water, depending on obviously what time of day it is, depending on what tracks you've got, and if you know when the animals are likely to go and drink, then you can try and find water. Yeah, go. Who's calling me? Sorry folks for driving into the sun like this, but unfortunately the line track's heading this way. We don't really have too much of a choice. He's standing by. Copy, copy. Okay, Johnny's just got the tracks on heading east on Central. So he's preempted where they've gone, which is good. Sorry, just a little bit soft again. Gloria, welcome on board this morning. I'd just like to know, why do we only hear the lions during the night and not the day? Do they hunt during the day? And we only hear the lions at night because the voices carry. Sorry, Johnny, confirm they fambered over Cheetah Cut Line? Copy, Pat. Okay. Okay, it sounds like these line tracks have gone over Cheetah Cut Line. Unfortunately, that's just outside of our traversing area. So, we may have to continue and look for something else. These lines have gone off onto a different part of the property. So Gloria, just coming back to your question, as I say, the sound will carry much further at night, because obviously during the day the air heats up and sound doesn't travel as far. So once the sun sets and the air starts to settle, a sound from a lion could carry maybe 2-3 kilometers. Sometimes on a very still night it may carry even further. And they use these calls to mark territory. So obviously they want the sound to carry as far as possible, but also they use it to relocate each other. So if there's something that's happened, if they've lost contact, they will call to try and relocate each other. And I have seen lions start to call about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, especially during the winter time. But obviously the area is going to be a lot more settled than 4 o'clock in summer. Obviously it just depends on the circumstances. But generally, when it's cooler at night, dusk, or first thing before the sunrise, you should get the lions calling. And hunting, they generally do most of the hunting at night. It's a bit of a myth, unfortunately. I remember watching documentaries where lions hunted during the day. I always thought lions hunted during the day. But they actually do most of the hunting at night, and that only really comes through with research and the better technology to watch and observe animals overnight. So it's been put onto the documentaries. But if they are hungry and there is an opportunity, they will hunt during the day if they really have to. But they're very lazy cats. If they don't have to hunt, they're fully enough. They can sleep during the day, at the hottest part of the day, then they will. They can spend 20 hours a day sleeping. I had one set of tracks there going straight over. hoping maybe might get something coming down here. I'm going to continue on cheetah cut line. Just see if we do have any luck. The rhino's been hanging around this side quite a lot, so I just want to also have a check down here, maybe around Leadwood area. Maybe see if we find any more tracks. And then I'll head back towards the dam and just see if maybe Induna's still around there. I can see one set of tracks. I was hoping we might see him maybe around Chelapan. I've got some rhino tracks here. Heading north. Bob up here and just see if the rhinos are a little bit further up. I do want to continue down there at some stage and just see if those lines do come out, but I have a feeling they've just carried on. They seem to be on quite a mission. Get to this junction and just see, because I have driven over some of the tracks, so it's very difficult to see the tracks on that side of the vehicle. That's why if you have a tracker, he sits on that side. Also, he's out the way of the driver. More rhino tracks this side. They did sort of veer off to the right, so they may have continued going that way as well. Oh no, we've got them here. Are they the tyre tracks cutting them, Mark?
Quite old.
So, I think they are old there. They looked quite fresh that side. There was quite a lot of detail there, but if the vehicle tracks have cut them, although it could have been Johnny's tracks.
No, Johnny went straight over to Torture.
Straight over. In that case, then they are old. There's just been very little wind here. So, we shall continue down then. So those tracks aren't worth following. They've been cut by other vehicle tracks. And those vehicle tracks, looking at them this side, look quite old. So it was difficult to tell that side because my vehicle tracks had cut them. So that's Torchwood that side. How far down does Torchwood go?
Gary Main.
Oh, it goes all the way down, okay. And I must admit, if ever you have a chance to hear a lion roaring, that is one of the most magical experiences you can ever have. If you actually sit there and listen, and if you have a lion maybe 10-15 meters away from you. And I always remember one of the best experiences with the lions I ever had. They were sat there, and it gone dusk, and we came back to watch the lines. We'd seen them during the day, and there were obviously black cats, as I was explaining earlier, that they sleep sometimes up to 20, 22 hours a day sometimes. And they were flat, so we went to have a drink and then came back a little bit later because the sun had set and they should start to move around looking for foods. They looked like the bellies weren't too full. And as we sat there, the big male, who was about 280 kilos, stood up and walked towards the vehicle. He was following a couple of females who walked right next to the vehicle and sat. She was sat probably about 3 meters behind us when she eventually decided to sit down. Big male followed, walked right down the side of the vehicle, about half a meter down the side, and sat maybe about half a meter behind. And I could still see him in my wing mirror, so I could keep an eye on him and the females. They were pointing away, so they weren't actually pointing towards the vehicle, so they were quite happy just sitting like close to the vehicle, and they were looking away from us, so I was quite happy, making sure that my guests were quite happy being surrounded by lions. And then another male, probably about 240 kilos at that stage, also came and sat about 5 meters from my vehicle, just to the right of me. And then the pride decided to start calling, so we had lions calling in surround sound, which was pretty phenomenal. Obviously, my guests were in awe at that stage. Their eyes were very, very wide, so I had to just tell them, don't worry, they're not going to harm us. Just relax and enjoy the experience. And they were quite grateful that I did tell them that afterwards, because they were quite worried, they said, until I said, look, just enjoy it. It really was an absolute phenomenal experience. There's nothing quite like having the lions calling and that close to you, and you actually feel the vibration through you. So you don't just hear the lion call, you feel it. And even the vehicle vibrate. Quite incredible. We'll continue down. Come up. Oh, happy birthday to Cookie as well. I hope you're going to have an awesome day. Or you've had an awesome day. And we're still trying to find something for you and Miss Jam to sit and look at on your birthday and enjoy. So we were following the lion tracks, but they've crossed over, so I'm just making sure that they haven't done something funny in Torchwood and come back this side. Sometimes they do funny things. We used to follow elephant tracks, and then they used to do 90-degree turns, and that would throw you off, and if you weren't expecting it, like we weren't to begin with, it took you quite a while to get back on track again. Rhino tracks also quite old, going north. The electrical tracks there, Mark.
Yeah, the car's over.
Where is that? It's not too chilly this morning, actually. Got to check the temperature on the thermometer this morning. After I actually bought a thermometer so we could actually see what's going on temperature wise, which has been quite useful. Oh, thank you, Alex. 8.3 Celsius, 46.9 Fahrenheit.
There's tracks.
Hippo tracks. And it's going to be a little bit difficult. I'm on the wrong side for the sun. So if we can. They are old, so you're not going to get the nice tramline effect. To get a nice elephant track to show you guys who haven't seen an elephant track before. All of these have been cut through by vehicles, so I'm not going to be able to show you it too nicely. Ah. Do you reckon you'll be able to get one of these, Mark? You're a bit close. What about that one?
You need the right angle with the sun, though.
Yeah. That one there at the back there. I'm razzing myself. Okay, I'm going to see if I can go and point out the track to you guys, for those of you who've never seen an elephant track before. You on this one?
Yes.
So hopefully you guys could see that. And there's been very little wind and very little movement. So you can see a lot of the detail from the cracks in the foot. Now the tricky part comes in how on earth you tell which direction the animal's going. It would be very difficult to tell from the track there especially. But if you think about the way that you walk, the elephants do exactly the same. The first part of your foot that hits the ground is your heel, and the last part to be in contact with the ground as you step away is your toe. And that's exactly what happens with the elephant. So you tend to get scuff marks where the elephant is, or where the elephant toes are, because they have the nails rather than hooves. So they have nails. You generally only get maybe 3 or 4 of the toes on the front foot registering. You don't get all 5 toes usually. But that's how you tell the direction that they're going in. As I say, these have been cut by a tyre, so I don't think they're too fresh. Wind will age a track. So you do have to take the wind into consideration, or the lack of wind. Rain will also help you to age tracks. So if you've got any raindrops in them, and you know when the last rains were, it will help you to age them. Very, very useful if you've got no raindrops in the tracks. You've got the tracks over the raindrops. Then it will give you quite a good indication of what time the animal came through the area. Incidentally, the tracks were going north. The elephants, you couldn't see too nicely, but you could see the flattened part of the track where the heel was. But then if you don't get a clear indication, then you move on to the next track if you can. And that's one of the tricks with tracking. If you can't see from the first track you've got, you walk down or drive down the road and see if you can find another track that will give you a clearer indication. Sometimes it can be quite difficult to tell. And if you have another guide and you're not too sure, then it's always worth conferring. I know the rhinos have been liking this area, so I was hoping maybe they may have continued their routine around here. So we are back to square one, looking for any tracks, fresh tracks to follow. It sounds like Johnny has gone on to Tortuous to try and follow up the lions. There's no more lion tracks coming back this side. So I'm going to head through to Twin Dam, maybe see if there's anything around there. Maybe back onto Gowrie, have a look to see if there's any leopard tracks. There was one also going towards Chalapan, but I wasn't really seeing any more. The lions had walked over most of them. Some elephants crossed over here. And we're actually on Gowrie Main for anybody following us with the map. And for those of you who want to know where the map is, you go to wildearth.ning.com and you go to resources, and there's a drop down menu and there'll be the map, and then you can actually follow where we go on the map as well. And if there is anybody that's just joining us, my name's Tara. I'm looking for any animal tracks at the moment. And I have Mark on camera with me this morning on the back of Jigger. And we have Alex and Akka in front of control, emailing or radio through any questions that you'd like to email. Anything that we've seen so far, any tracking questions or anything to do with nature, more than welcome to email us at finalcontrol@safari.tv. We'll be able to answer it in real time. We are broadcasting 100% live from here, Juma Game Reserve in the Sabi Sands. And if we do have any new viewers and a bit confused how all this works, where we actually traverse, we traverse about 1,000 hectares within Juma Game Reserve. And Juma Game Reserve is part of the Sabi Sands, which is a collection of privately owned properties, and that's making up about 65,000 hectares. And we also have no fences between those properties, so and the animals are able to move between the properties, although we are only allowed to traverse on certain parts of those properties. Actually, I did want to go... No, let's continue down to Twin Dams and may lose signals. We're going to this dip. As I say, it's also had the fences dropped between Savi Sand and Kruger, making the whole area roughly around 2.7 million hectares. Apart from looking out for tracks, we're also listening out to any alarm calls made by animals, whether it be a squirrel, francolin, guinea fowl, impalas. It is a little bit chilly, so it could be the animals are still waiting for the heat of the sun to warm up before they venture out from the bush, where it's going to be a little bit warmer. The air would have been trapped in amongst the bushes and the trees, just helping them to keep a little bit warmer during these winter days now. Oh, there's a leg of on there.
Yeah.
Got a water monitor. Let's see if we can get him from here, and then I'll see if we can move down. My worry is that if we try and drive down too close, we may just scare it into the water, but it looks like it's basking in the sun at the moment. A water monitor lizard. Also known as a legavan in Afrikaans. Other name is a yellow-throated monitor. And there is a rock monitor. He spends more time in the rocky areas rather than close to water. And they have a white throat rather than a yellow throat. These guys will eat crocodile eggs, any other bird eggs that may be on the ground, insects, small lizards. They've got quite a wide range of food. And what's quite ingenious with these monitor lizards is that if there's any termite mounds around, they'll break open the termite mounds, lay the eggs inside. Termites will then patch up the hole, and once the eggs have hatched with the little hatchlings, they'll have a ready-made meal. But what's also quite ingenious is that with the eggs being inside the termite mound, they get incubated at the right temperature. So let's see if we can get a little bit closer. Okay, I'm going to just pull down to the water's edge and just see if we can get a little bit closer to him. I'm hoping it's not going to move away. Hopefully that Franklin isn't going to scare him away. It's a very still morning here at Twin Dams. You can actually see that yellow throat there quite nicely now. Okay. They will also eat little ducklings or little goslings. Unfortunately, I think there was a water monitor responsible at Gowrie Dam for possibly taking out one of the Egyptian goslings. There was a water monitor around about the same time as one of the goslings went missing. Could possibly have been the heron as well, but they say it was quite interesting that it was around. It was quite a large water monitor by Gowrie Dam. I don't know if we're able to cut across just to the other side of the bank where the oxpeckers are. They're just busy drinking on the side there.
It's flown away.
I think they've flown away now. Last station send again. It was actually quite interesting the other day. We had a baby hippo investigating a water monitor down at Gowrie Dam, and it was actually sat very close to the camera itself, and every time the hippo went closer to the water monitor it would flick its tail and almost hit the hippo on its nose, and it wasn't learning, and it probably tried to sniff it, and it came at different angles, and he was just so fascinated by this water monitor, and it wouldn't move from the branch. It was actually quite brave. And I'd have thought a baby hippo would be quite intimidating to a water monitor, especially if it was quite a small one. They can reach almost about a meter in length, so they can get quite large. This one is not that large. I'd say the body probably about 20-30 centimeters, maybe the tail about 10 centimeters. What would you say, Mark?
I'd say it's got to be close on 3 feet, 2.5.
Which is what's 2 feet?
What's 2 feet?
I can't think.
60 centimeters.
About 60 centimeters. Well, I'm guesstimating 40, so Mark's guesstimating 60, so somewhere around there. Alrighty, shall we continue on? Not too many birds around here. We keep hearing the Franklin's calling, but it's a territorial call rather than an alarm call. So, I think we shall try. I think we'll try around Treehouse and see if those buffalo are still around there. Maybe go up Weed's Nest. There's so many areas I want to try. Unfortunately, it sounds like we're the only vehicle out this morning on this part of the reserve. So everywhere I want to try for animals, we've got to try and look ourselves. We don't have another vehicle out who can cover the other areas. I also want to try Mumba Road. There wasn't any fresh elephant tracks down Batalia or on Cheetah Cut Line. There has been quite a few elephants around Mumba Road, Batalia and the drainage line recently. I'm going to head back out onto Gowrie, Maine. Make our way up. See if we can maybe find those buffalo we bumped into last night. A bit further, the lines went off that way, buffalo over this side. May have lost you with the signal there. Hopefully you're back again. Sorry, if you can just send again.
Question, yeah. But we're not copying, you can't send the question.
Give you maybe I'll just relay it for me.
Copying you now. I'm copying you now. Copy that. Diane wants to know about the mountains that we see sometimes in the distance. What mountains they are and where they're located.
Okay. Welcome on board this morning, Diane. And just in case, I think everyone should have heard the question from Mark there. What mountains do we see sometimes and where are they located? I'm sure Mark will correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, they are the Drakensberg.
Yeah. The northern limit.
Huh?
The northern stretches of the Drakensberg.
The northern stretch of the Drakensberg. I've yet to actually go into the Drakensberg properly. It's next on my list. I think, isn't that where God's Window is?
God's Window is one tiny little spot.
Yeah.
You've been through the Drakensberg.
Yeah, I've driven through it, but I haven't actually
Yeah.
been properly to it. So I'd
Yeah.
like to actually go and do some holidaying there at some stage. I say there's quite a number of mountain ranges, and my old reserve was on the Waterberg mountain range, and that was actually on top of the Bushveld complex, and that was quite old rocks. They were about 2.5 billion years old. Waterberg about 1.7 billion years old. The Drakensberg, actually I'm not too sure how old are the Drakensberg. Maybe someone can help us out with that one.
But it is one of the longest ranges.
I think the Cederberg is also quite a long range, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Cederberg. It's known, I think it's Barberton that actually has some of the oldest rocks in the world, which are about 3 billion years old. Thanks for the question, Diane. I say it'd be quite nice if anybody does know or is able to have a look, see how old the Drakensberg is. I think, aren't they made up mostly of the granite rock? Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
And granite is actually the base, or one of the base rocks that's around here in the Sabi Sands. There's also the basalt as you go further into Kruger. But that's why we have what's known as quite a Sauerfeld. We have a lot of broadleaf trees. So these trees aren't as nutritious as the sweetfeld trees, like the acacias. The acacias tend to like the basalt rocks more, so it actually dictates or helps to dictate what plants you're going to get in the area. So the rocks are actually quite an important part of the cycle, and if you have certain types of rock, there's a hammerkop here at the water's edge. Yeah, get it there.
Yep.
With a certain type of rock, say, give rise to certain vegetation, and that will actually dictate what animals you have in the area. We have a hammerkop in the picture here. Hammerkop meaning hammerhead, kop meaning head in Afrikaans. It looks like the old hammers. So they build one of the largest nests in one go of the birds out here in South Africa. The eagles will build nests maybe a little bit larger, but that'll be over quite a long period of time. Whereas these guys can reach up to about 50 kilos in weight of sticks and branches. What's quite interesting is Varroa's eagles may actually use these nests to nest on top of.
Eagle owl.
Varroa's eagle owl.
Yeah, not eagle.
No, Varroa's eagle owl. And these guys will also eat quite a lot of frogs, especially platanas. And again, if you're able to watch the dam camera, you actually have a hammercob living there, or living around there. And we've seen him a few times using the back of the hippo, which is new to me. Actually using the back of the hippo as a platform to try and catch frogs from. And he does quite well. He'll actually sit there and the hippo will go underwater or submerge itself, and he'll still be standing there until the hippo goes too far under and then he has to fly off. But you'll see them bringing the frog out to the land and shaking it, and they'll just try and get rid of all the toxins from the platana. And they'll shake all the toxins off the skin. And I think it also helps to eat it, because obviously they have many bones, and sometimes I've actually seen a hammercob with a frog that looks about 3 times larger than its mouth. And I wonder if it also helps to break the bones up a little bit and help them to eat it a little bit easier. So a Cape turtle dove in the shot there just flew off. There's another one I think just to the left. I think there's a netterkey there. Maybe there was a couple sitting in the bush just opposite us.
Where?
I think you might be out of shot, but there was one just sitting in the little bush just next to us. I think the buffalo thorn might be hiding it. Got one of the starlings there. Looks like a Cape glossy starling. I just saw the bright yellow eye. And again, that iridescence you do get from layers of keratin in the feathers, and they just help to reflect different wavelengths. So obviously depending on the amount of layers and the way those layers are formed will give you a different iridescent colour. So the greens that you see on some of the birds, the iridescent greens, the blues, the violets, are all from the layers of keratin in the feathers. And some of the brighter colours that aren't iridescent are actually little pockets of keratin, and that helps to scatter the light rather than reflect the wavelengths to make it an iridescent colour. So you still get these bright vivid colours, but it's just a slightly different way the keratin is laid down in the feathers.
Like the canaries that would come down.
The canaries, okay. They're yellow fronted.
Yellow-eyed, probably.
Yellow-eyed, okay.
Couldn't see from this distance. But they're
There's
there in
one
that tree. They
actually.
look like it. They're in that tree with that other starling.
And there's a bunting just in front. I don't know if you're going to be able to get it here in front of us, next to the water's edge. Which bunting it was.
Golden breasted. Only bunting we get.
Oh, okay,
Where?
that helps. Golden breasted bunting. It was just there, just flew down.
Pity it's not in the sun. Oh, back in the tree.
Oops. Beautiful yellow breast of the golden breasted bunting. I've been used to seeing cinnamon breasted buntings. They have sort of a pinky, peachy colour. What beautiful little bird. But also with the bunting, it's one of the characteristics of a bunting is the black and white stripes on the head. Very, very characteristic. So if you look for those stripes, that's going to help you to try and ID it as a bunting. Ooh, excuse me.
Bless you.
Sure, I'll just scared all the birds away now.
Yep.
I was thinking it was just a little bit quiet. Did a bit of a belly flop there. Male hippo that's taken up residence here, Treehouse Dam. It's been here a good 2-3 weeks now, hey. I wonder if it was my sneezing that scared him.
I think so.
I've just suddenly thought, I wonder if he was actually sunbathing. And I think my sneeze actually scared him, and that's what made him run into the water. Sorry, Hungo. Shame. Okay. Sorry, Alex, that was very ganky. Try and send it again.
Brian and the...
Aha. Okay, Brian from the UK. Good morning to you. I'm very much looking forward to enjoying that heat wave when I come home next week. I hope you're having a good day over there in the UK. And would you like to know when the masked weavers are going to start building their nests again? Well, they generally start as the rains are approaching. Obviously the vegetation becomes greener and a lot more supple. And they'll take strands of grass and depending on the species of weaver will dictate what obviously species of grass they use. But to weave just as the rains arrive, and they actually started quite early up our way last time. They started probably a good